Hello guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new to my channel, hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Summer, and to all of you that keep coming back, hello and welcome back. Quick reminder, if you've never subscribed, I'm just going to remind you to click that red button there that says subscribe, and after that click the bell sign. That way you get notification whenever I upload a new video. In today's video I want to talk about I don't even know what to call it, why I no longer want to be called a Christian, or why I no longer want to, I don't even have a word. So I don't even know how to title this video, whether I should title it why I no longer want to be called a Christian, or why to be honest, I'm not too sure what to call it. So basically what I want to talk about is how, you know, it's becoming embarrassing. Like there's so much embarrassing things happening. A lot of the things that are, you know, a lot of the things that are happening in our Christianity today, let me put it this way. There's so many things that are happening that as a Christian you don't want to be associated with this kind of things. You know, you don't want to be associated with this kind of things, or this kind of people, or these people of this kind of mentality. You know, think about this, right? Let's think about this for a minute. When you want to put your children in a school, you choose. You can be like, oh yeah, I prefer that school because that school has good reputation, or I prefer that school because that school has, you know, this record, you know, stuff like that. And when you want to join the club, you'll be like, oh, I want to join that club, I don't want to join that club, they're not my kind of people. Or I prefer this club because I like the way these people are. They, you know what I mean. I like the way these people are. I like the way the way they conduct themselves. This is what I'd like to be associated with. Now, even sometimes when it comes to like buying a house or renting a house, people decide like, I would not like to live in this neighborhood, I prefer to live in that neighborhood. Typically we pick and choose. That's life. You know, we pick and choose according to what we would like to be associated with, or people we would like to be associated with. But then when it comes to being Christians, you know, we're all called Christians, right? But the truth is this: there are a lot of people that are fellow Christians that if you had the choice, you wouldn't want to be associated with these people. There are a lot of pastors that are doing things that are so embarrassing that you just wish that they were not under this umbrella of Christian pastors, if you know what I mean. With all these things that are going on recently and everything, you just feel so, sometimes there's so much going on that you just wish you were not associated with these people. The ridiculousness, it's just some of the things that are happening are just so ridiculous and embarrassing that there's no better word to use than to use the word embarrassing. And then when it comes into the mentality of some of the people, you know, the followers, let me tell you, the truth is this: a lot of this so-called, we are calling them so-called because a lot of them are not pastors, you know, a lot of them are not pastors, but a lot of these people, they wouldn't succeed if they didn't have the brainwashed people that do not get it. If they didn't have the brainwashed people that do not get it, they will not succeed. Because let me tell you, if a pastor is a so-called pastor, because a lot of them are not pastors, they shouldn't even be called pastors. You know, it's these people that call themselves pastors. If they turned up on a Sunday and there was nobody in the church, then they would close down. They would think twice. Is it that they're going to look for another business to do, or they're going to change their ways? But the truth is this: no matter what they do, they come every Sunday, and there are gullible, blind people that are going to sit down there and swallow every rubbish that they vomit. That's where the problem is. Think about it. The pastors that have done the most vile things, so-called pastors, I want to keep using that word, so-called pastors, they've done the most vile things, and then on Sunday they come and they start preaching, and there are people sitting down there and listening and shouting amen. You know, think about it. So you'll be like, oh, are you perfect? Are you perfect? I've said this thing before. The life that I live and the things that I do are, if I can use the word, an individual thing. I'm not the one in a church claiming to be a man of God or woman of God, and even though you know that you are not, you know that you're lying, you know that it's just a business. There's a big difference between what an individual is doing with their life, you know, compared to what someone that decides to say, I want to be, you know, a leader in a church, what they do, because they are leading a group of people. A lot of them are leading hundreds and thousands of people. So it's no longer about what an individual does with their individual life. So that's why when you talk about me, I'm not going to come here and say, oh, I've never done. Let me tell you, I have my own stories. And I've said it before that I have backslided in the past. And I just go and just live my life. And I keep coming back. If somebody asked me once, the times that you did backslide, why did you come back? And I just explained how when it comes to other kind of relationships, you can be like, oh, I'm done, and be like, that's it, I don't want to see him or her anymore, and that's it, and maybe find somebody else and move on, you know. But when you've known God for a long time, when you've served God for a long time, when you had a relationship with God for a long time, you know, what I have found is this, that when I break up with God, I go, I'm like, oh God, I'm not doing this anymore, that's it. And I say to God, this relationship is over. I end up coming back because there's nowhere to go. Walk away from a relationship, you may find another relationship or whatever. But when you walk away from God, there is no other God. You end up coming back to him. And that's why I've always come back. So every single time that I did backslide, that's why I came back, because there's no God to go to. Like, I break up with this God and then there's no other God. I end up coming back because there's no other. So yeah, I'm not coming to say I've never had this in my life, I never had it in my life. But you know what, those days or those times that I did backslide, it was just me and my life. I wasn't leading a group of people. These so-called pastors are leading people. So let me tell you what you have to realize. A lot of us would have backslided at one point or the other, and we go away and then we come back, whatever. But you see, these pastors, because they have pretended to be men and women of God for such a long time, a lot of them, what happens when they backslide, you know, one, they have no other source of income. The money is so good, they can't think of leaving the money and walking away, because it's like, okay, this money is too good. Like, think about all this tithes and offering. Think about all the private jet and all these several cars or whatever. That is one other reason a lot of them stay, because of the financial aspect. Another aspect is, what will people say? Like, how does a pastor come out and say, I've actually backslided? They will not come out and say it. But the problem with that is this: these people are already backslided, and then they are leading a group of people. So it's different from when I backslide, because when I backslide, it's just me. You get my point? But I'm not leading God's people. But when the pastor backslide, you know, how does he come out and say, I've actually backslided? But the truth is this: if they fear God, you know, they would worry about what people would say, what would society say. But the truth is this: if they have the fear of God in them, they wouldn't focus on what people would say. They would focus on what God would say, you know, because they are answerable to God at the end of the day. Although it's getting to the point where I feel like a lot of them don't even have the fear of God, the love of God, nothing. Like, they've lost it along the way. Some of you come and start leaving me comments. Let me tell you, don't tell me, do you know how long he's been in the ministry? That means nothing. That means absolutely nothing. If you've been in ministry for 100 years, at this moment you have backslided. You're useless. What matters is who they are right now. Are they in the right place with God? It doesn't matter how long they've been in ministry. It does not matter. Their ages. Oh, do you know how old he is? He's old enough to be your father. And I keep saying this: a lot of these pastors are not old enough to be my fathers. A lot of them are not. You know, I'm almost 42. A lot of them are not. But it's not even about age. It's not about age. Nigerians are too much into sentiments, and God does not care how old you are. Somebody came and left me a comment and said, you're too young, I said, listen, I'm almost 42. But even the Bible makes it clear, don't let anybody look down on you because of your age. That's what the Bible says. Another problem we have is that a lot of people put the love and respect of their pastors above the love and respect for God. If you love God and you respect God and the fear of God is in you, you'll be speaking up like me. Because we all have enough respect to our fathers, our earthly fathers, that if anybody disrespects them, we are not going to find it funny. But a lot of us are very calm and relaxed when these so-called men of God, you know, are disrespecting God. A lot of them have already backslided, but they stay there because that position feels great. They just want to stay there because they enjoy the position. Even the oldest GOs, a lot of the oldest GOs in Nigeria have already backslided. One of the weakest points they have is money. They may have started well, but they have allowed the love of money, the greed, to pull them away from true Christianity. That's the fact. I've said it before. If your pastor's life is not like the life of Christ, ask yourself, what God are they talking about? A lot of them, like even some of the comments. Now, some of you be like, oh, don't even bother replying them. Sometimes I reply their comments because a part of me is hoping that I can speak to them, and maybe I can speak to them, and maybe somehow there's hope. But the truth is, there's a lot of them that they've gone so far, like the amount of brainwashing. You know, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Some of these people have gone so far that even calling them brainwashed is an insult to brainwashed people. Some of these people are actually brain dead. You see the comments they leave me. Let me tell you, do you know the amount of curses and insulting a lot of these so-called GO's children are living on my GO's children are living on my channel? They use words that some unbelievers will not even use it. What does that tell you? Their churches are not the churches of God. If they are true Christians, that the message from the pulpit is actually according to the word of God, these people will not use this kind of words that they use and feel comfortable, but they use these abusive words in my comment section, and as always I just delete and I block them. But at the end of the day, it still brings back the point that a lot of these churches are just people just go to church. The pastors are not even Christians themselves. They went into this for business. Even those that started well with good intentions, and they have, you know, some of them that started well have backslided, but you do not know because they are still there pretending to be all right. A lot of them are no longer all right. So why I'm making this video is because of apart from the things that are happening with all these sagas and all these things that are so clear that these people, you know, I'm ashamed. A lot of the things have happened, especially all these sagas and all these things going on. Is embarrassing to imagine that we and these people are going to say, oh, we're all Christians, we're Christians. It's embarrassing. Like I'm talking about club, you can choose a club you want to belong in or whatever. But when it comes to being Christians, you can't really choose. We're all answering Christians. I don't know if there's another word we can invent, or maybe we can say the woken Christians, the woke Christians, or the woken. There should be, I wish there was a way we can just differentiate so we can know between the ones that can see and the ones that are blind, because there is a big difference between us at the moment, and it's embarrassing to be, you know, associating ourselves with some of these people. And if you see some of the comments that I receive, I always shake my head like, is that a Christian? Is that a Christian? Some of the comments, and they are so gullible, you know, they are so, and you can tell from the comment that they're just vomiting what their pastors have said. And you will see people shouting and be like, yeah, my daddy the Lord is so rich, my GO is rich, you guys are just jealous, and they assume that we're all poor. I don't know, I'm not a millionaire or whatever, but I'm not poor or starving or anything like that. But they'll be like, my daddy in the Lord is so rich, you know, and then they start quoting the Bible that, you know, and they quote it for their pastor's life. And I always wonder, you know, it's how do these people accept that the pastor's life is destined to be so wealthy and rich and live all these lives, and you that you are there celebrating, you that you are there and using the Bible to explain why your pastor is so rich? But how come the Bible verses do not apply to your own life? How come it does not apply to your own life? Pastors keep enriching themselves. Let me tell you, let them stop collecting tithe and offering, and you would know how rich they truly are. They are beggars. They collect from everybody. Tell me, who in the world will collect everybody's money and not be rich? Think about it. Who in the world will collect everybody's money and not be rich? Let me tell you, in most countries, people pay tax. When you pay tax, it's used to beautify the country, fix the roads, you know, pay salaries, provide this, whatever. It's used to build the country. The same thing when it comes to the churches. People are bringing money. It is to build the people of God, build facilities. Should be a lot of these rich schools should have free education for their church members. They should be able to do that. I've made videos where I explain that the missionaries that brought us Christianity, they gave free education, but yet they built schools that only the rich can afford, and they keep making more money. Oh, my pastor is rich. Your pastor is rich because he's a beggar and he collects from everybody in the name of the Lord, and they are rich themselves, and you are there celebrating. He's celebrating his crimes. You are celebrating he's stealing in the name of the Lord, and you are celebrating. You are so brainwashed. You know, you have to open your eyes. You guys have to open your eyes. These people they are smart, and they are enjoying all these things because you guys are not smart. And I bet you a lot of them will be looking sometimes at themselves in the mirror, and they'll be wondering, how are we getting away with this? Like, they will be like, how are we getting away with so much? Because they know themselves that they are fake. They know. The mentality of the people that leave me comments sometimes makes me feel like, oh my goodness, you know, you sometimes you see some of their comments, you just wish that you cannot be related, you cannot be associated with these people. But we're all answering Christians. But you look at their comments sometimes, you're like, you don't want to be associated with these people. The whole thing that's been going on, and all the, with the sagas here and saga there or whatever, a lot of us have done a lot of things in our lives in the past, but the truth is we left them in the past, and we are, one thing I have to say is this: when you meet God, it's not going to be about who you were yesterday or who you're going to be tomorrow. It's about who you are right now. Who you are right now. My past is gone. Who am I right now? Forget about what I'm going to do tomorrow, because I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. What am I doing right now? A lot of these pastors right now are living lives that even unbelievers are not living. Embarrassing, some of the things that are going on. And then they are brainwashed children. When you read their comments sometimes, seriously, when I read their comments sometimes, I just wish I'm not associated. When I say associated, we cannot, saying, oh, we're Christians. I wish there was another word, really. I wish there was another word like we can use. Woken Christians, the non-blind Christians, maybe awoken Christians. They are woke, or they are woken, or woken Christians, or something else that we can maybe use to separate ourselves from the blind ones that are the GO's children in the Lord. It's a shame the way things are going. It's the real shame. And every day all we can do is keep speaking and keep praying that God will open more eyes. And with that, I'm just gonna say thank you for watching. Until the next time, guys. Bye-bye. Bye.